Restoring old steam toys. This is part 2, a Mamod Te1 steam tractor repair, unboxing and a preliminary inspection and starting the job. Time to open the box and see what's inside. It seems to be quite well packed, and that's a good thing because there are signs of impact on the corner of the box and the outer brown paper was torn. This part of the video to me is a bit tedious, so I'm running the video at a higher speed. And in no time at all I get to what was inside the package. It is an old Mamod Te1 traction engine, not a Te1A, the original Te1, but then again not quite the original Te1 because it doesn't have the valve on the exhaust of the chimney. This is the one from the interim period when Mamod fitted in their infinite wisdom the incredibly ugly and very massive reversing lever. The customer reports that the scuttle is missing and also the whistle and valve is missing too. I've just ordered these parts from a company called Forest Classics. A while ago I performed a complete rebuild on an old Te1A and I used the small brass whistle, but on this one I'm going to use the more modern one because this one is definitely newer than the one I worked on previously. And at first glance it's in better condition. It's quite dirty. Some of the paint on the wheels is flaking, and the flat spring that holds the front wheels level is missing too. That's why the paint's been marked by the wheels. On these earlier Te1 models, the canopy fits in a different way. The new ones have a screw that holds it onto the chimney, but this canopy just has a spring clip at the front. As I zoom in to show that this is a Te1 and not a Te1A, you can clearly see that the suspension spring is missing from the axle beam. I don't know why they put a sticker on to say fit scuttle here. I mean, where else are you going to fit it? But just to avoid confusion, this is where you fit the scuttle. Here's a shot of part of the wheel, and as you can see, the paint's a bit flaky and it's altogether quite dirty. The chrome firebox canopy is past its best and there's various bits of rust here and there. Some of the smaller parts I will actually be cleaning up, but the larger parts I'm going to leave them as they are, because it's important to preserve the patina or patina so that they stay looking old. I don't want this to look like a brand new engine, although I will be performing some repairs to it and cleaning it up. Everything on this engine is very dry. It hasn't run for many years. That's why the first thing I'm doing is lubricating every moving part. It would be very foolish to run this engine in such a dry condition. This is a part I made a while ago to allow me to use a compressed air line on a Mamod steam engine. It's fitted with a steam-grade silicone O-ring, and I'm also lubricating this thread because the thread in the top of the boiler is very dry indeed. And because this engine is so old, I do not want to stress out any of the bushes in the boiler. As you can see, the crankshaft's a bit rusty, but this looks okay. I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to polish everything up, it would spoil it. Besides, it's easy enough for the customer, should he need the engine polishing up, to do it himself. It's not exactly rocket science. Here's a close-up of the fitting that I made. And here I'm fitting the air line, which in this case is silicone rubber tubing, and holding it in place with a spring clip. Before I go any further, as I start to use close-ups on the engine, I would like to show you this, just to avoid people writing in saying, "Are you aware that the smoke box is cracked?" No, it isn't. Some of these castings on early Mamods, and even later Mamods, were not particularly good. The mark at the bottom of the smoke box is just where it's been scraped by the front wheel. I've connected the air line and there's about £10 per square inch going into it at the moment. Maybe I need a little bit more. And at £15 per square inch, off it goes. As per usual from my experience, the hideous reversing mechanism does not work properly and will need some attention. I'm moving the position of the piston just to move the spring in an attempt to seat the reversing mechanism slightly better on the back of the port face. And to a limited extent this does seem to work. Although the mechanism is knocking and rattling considerably, I think this engine in its day has had quite a lot of running. As I freeze this clip, you can see that there's quite a lot of play between the end of the piston rod and the crank pin. But I can't get worked up about this. It is after all a Mamod steam engine, and they were never renowned for high tolerance components. Just by compressing, relaxing and lubricating the spring, it's running altogether much better. I'm stopping the engine frequently and applying more oil. And now you can both see and hear that it's a lot better. The reversing lever has stopped moving around. The time has come for some slow motion. Yes, that's a lot better, and as you can see the crankshaft isn't bent and this engine is in quite good order really. But I do need to do something about the reversing lever. It's wandering all over the place. I'll try a bit more oil. Just by applying a little bit more oil to the lever itself, it's a good bit better. I'll do some more work on this. I think it may be something to do with the fact that the port face is distorted. Personally, I never liked this method. On the original TE1s, these parts weren't fitted. There was a simple regulator on the exhaust outlet, but of course the early ones didn't run in reverse. But why you would want to run one in reverse is a bit of a puzzle to me. In this clip you can see that I've removed the safety valve because I want to clean it up. I thought I would do this by hand with a piece of Scotch-Brite, but unfortunately my lifespan isn't going to be long enough. Instead I rotated it very quickly in my small Walco lathe, which speeded up the process considerably. Before cleaning up the safety valve I removed what was left of the small rubber O-ring, which was very perished and just fell apart in my fingers. Here's a cleaned up safety valve with the old ring, and here is a shot of the safety valve screwed into the boiler and fitted with a steam grade silicone O-ring, which should last quite a long time. That's it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.